Well, circling the drain, we wouldn't be able to do this podcast without people that would support us. And David Crabtree is one of these fine people, and he's got Crabtree Benefits. And David, I'd like you to tell folks a little bit about Crabtree Benefits.
Okay, thank you, Johnny, for having me today. And Crabtree Benefits is an employee benefit company. I help companies establish a benefit package for their employees. So if they're looking for medical, dental, vision, disability, they can provide them to their employees so their employees can protect themselves and their families.
One of the things that you do is help the business owner not have to get in the weeds.
Well, it can certainly be overwhelming.
Confusing.
And these are, literally life-altering decisions.
Yeah.
As a business owner, really the last thing you want to deal with are employee benefits. This is where I come in. I'm David Crabtree with Crabtree Benefits.
Hey, if your business needs better benefits, go to crabtreebenefits.com and be sure and tell them Johnny B said, hey.
I never got told like no, absolutely no, but I never got offered the opportunity to play piano on my records. So in a way, that was, and granted, I'm good at what I do, and which in turn I think would make my records more authentic.
Right.
But yeah, they never let me play on my records, but now I do because I can do what I want.
Do what you want.
Welcome to a podcast about music and entertainment. Before it all goes down the disposal, this is Circling the Drain.
Hey, welcome back to Circling the Drain. You know me. I'm Johnny B, or Johnny Bozeman, as people call me. One of the two. Jay Harper.
What is that, kind of a split personality thing?
I guess it is. Yeah.
Schizophrenia.
My friends call me John. The other folks call me Johnny.
You can call me Ray, or you can call me Jay, but you don't have to call me Johnson. I'm kind of dating myself there.
How you doing, Jay?
Hey, Jay Harper here. Hey, doing well. I mean, has that indie race started yet?
I don't know, man. We're still waiting.
We're still waiting. Anyway, that's another story.
Yes,
Good to see you, Johnny B.
Good to see you, Jay.
And, of course, Jimmy Mack, James Patrick McCarthy, doing what he does over there.
You guys went to a race?
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah, we did. I think we spent more time under the bleachers and at one time in the men's room.
Yeah, hiding from the rain.
Yeah. Everybody was in the men's room.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate turn of events. A race that turned into a 3-day escapade.
Yes, it did.
Well, three days for me.
Yeah.
They ended up racing on the Monday, and it was perfect that day, but anyway, we don't want to get off into that. I mean, the race, Johnny, I know you couldn't make it on the Monday, but man, it was good.
You know,
when they finally threw the green flag.
Had I been invited, I would have brought the sunshine.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well, next time we'll bring you.
Hold on.
We have plenty of sunshine.
There we go. There's my crying my tears.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Well, it was hotter than.
Yeah, it was.
I swear to God, hell must have a lot of humidity because that's the way it felt.
It was
day.
A bit on the warm side.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting away from it. We have a special guest.
A special guest. He's sitting here going,
come on, come to me.
Gotta keep my head on a swivel with you guys.
But country singer Craig Campbell is with us.
Yes, indeed.
Good to have you, my brother.
Glad to be here. Yes.
There we go. A traditional country singer. God love him.
Yes, indeed. We need more.
Yeah, no broke country coming out of this man.
No,
Trad country.
Yeah, trad country, baby. And plus also an entrepreneur. He's man. And we'll talk about that later.
Right.
But he's got the Grindstone Cowboy, which
is a very successful location.
Plus, I love the name. Always did.
Yeah, the name came first. It's been fun with this with the Grindstone Cowboy.
Now you live in Eagleville. So you're almost a neighbor of mine.
I live there.
You and Trace Atkins.
Trace lives there. I live in the city limits, which I don't know if you knew this or not, but I'm also on city council.
Yeah, I was telling Jim that before we started.
And I was on the way over here today, and I got a stretch of road travel coming up that I got to have my paperwork turned in because I'm running again, and I got to have it turned in by the 20th. And I'm like, I don't have time, so I got to get back to and just I'm gonna set the because you got to get 50 people to petition.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to set it off at the counter at Grindstone and just have people sign it.
There you go.
Yeah, it was smart.
Yeah, very good. So, I mean, who takes credit for the coming up with that cool name?
That was me. I mean, I mistakenly heard someone say Grindstone Cowboy. I thought that's what they said, and then just immediately I thought that would be a great name for a coffee shop.
Yeah,
and I just tucked it away, and I even trademarked it too. I was like, I'm gonna hold on to this one, no matter what. And then COVID hit, and I knew we had to come up with a contingency plan with our, because all of my shows were taken off the books, and that was something that I had no control over, and I never thought that day would come. And so I talked to my wife, and she said, "We're not doing that. That's terrible. That's a terrible idea." But I wouldn't let it go, and I kept on and on, and finally I said, "Hey, let me show you what I'm talking about." And I took her to a place in Lewisburg and showed it, and I said, "This is what I'm talking about, but better and cooler." And so then she was on board. So so we bought the building in 2021 and opened in 2022.
And I remember that because I was on the radio at the time, and man, I plugged the hell out of it. I just wanted you to know.
I appreciate it.
Well,
it worked.
Well, I'm glad.
Worked.
I'm glad.
We had our grand opening was absolutely insane that day. I remember, and I had talked to Trace Adkins about just popping in, making an appearance, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be there for you." And the day came, and it was a madhouse. It was. If you've been to Grindstone Cowboy in Eagleville, it's small. And so we, just to imagine 200 people in there.
Well, yeah. In fact, my wife and I were going to go to the grand opening. And once we got there, it was like,
the line
I don't think we're going to make it in.
It was pretty awesome. So I texted Trace. I said, "Hey, it's crazy. If you don't want to be a part of this, I totally get it." So then he calls me. He's like, "What's going on?" And I just said, "Man, there's a lot of people here, and you would get bombarded." And I said, if I totally understand if you don't want to come down." He's like, "No, I'm coming."
Well, and let's be honest, if anybody can make a crowd, part, he's like Moses.
Well, not only that, but he can see over most of the crowd.
And he did the coolest thing, man. He showed up full Trace Adkins, like dressed up, cowboy hat, all of it.
Yeah.
And got behind the bar and was making drinks, and and then he's like, "Hey, I'm telling me he was about to leave. I guess I'm gonna go kiss some babies." And so then he starts at the register and starts to making his way out the front door, and it took him probably 45 minutes. He took pictures and signed autographs, and it was just one of the coolest things.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, we were fortunate to have him on our podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, the man sat here for
3
good while,
hours.
to where we were able to come up
hours.
with 3 episodes.
I love it. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I got to point out, though, when you see him on other podcasts, and even at Grindstone Cowboy, he comes, in the Trace Adkins garb. With us,
Yeah.
he had a cap on
And his overalls.
just come off the
I was
farm.
gonna say he probably just got off his tractor.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He did. But, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I noticed that other podcasts, I guess, since he's been on ours, asked him about his wife shooting him.
Yes.
And now I'm seeing a lot of those clips from other podcasts.
Yes.
Making the rounds.
Yes, it is.
I think I saw one recently as well.
Yeah.
Basically saying she didn't. I saw the clip where he was telling her, like, he didn't think she meant to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what podcast I saw that, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
you're-
started it.
now you
Yeah, we
We did. Yeah, we
It's
posted
an interesting story. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I can't
not
believe you
everybody can say-
survived it. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
everybody can say you've been shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And survive.
Right.
I'm sure most of us, our wives, want to shoot us.
Oh, trust me. I know mine
but-
does.
Well, I know, we pulled a clip from our podcast of him giving that story, and on Facebook, it's got almost 4 million views.
Yeah.
Just that one's
It's a great story.
Oh, it is. It's
Yeah.
great. But I know you've got great stories because you live in Eagleville now, but you came here from Georgia.
Yep.
What town were you born in?
So born and raised down in South Georgia. I grew up in Lyons, Georgia, which is nobody really knows where Lyons is, but we share the county with Vidalia,
Yes.
which is we're famous for the onions.
yes, sir.
And so born and raised. I played piano for my church as a kid, graduated high school. I was hired by the Department of Corrections. I was a correctional officer for about 2 years, and realized that was not my path. But music had always been there, and always felt like it was something I was good at. And put a band together and started playing nationwide, like doing just bars and honky tonks, and then just I said, man, I need to get to Nashville. I need to be surrounded by people that like-minded and like creative and types that I needed to be around that. And so I made the move. A buddy of mine called me. He said, hey man, me and my wife are getting a divorce. I need a roommate. If I can get you a job, would you move up here? And it was perfect timing. I said, absolutely. Drove up on a Thursday. Went for my interview that Friday morning. She hired me on the spot. Drove back home, loaded my truck up, and that was in 2002. And yeah.
Oh, wow.
I am Vinny Tavares. I'm the owner of Milltown Bikes, right in the heart of Columbia, Tennessee, on the square. And we're here to serve the community. We have bicycles from kids to adults, e-bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes. We run a repair shop. So I am the third generation of this current bike shop. It's been here since the 70s. It's a historical building. It's an integral part of the downtown community in Columbia. We got customers here coming in and talking that they got their very first bike here. So the reception has been great. Everybody's been super friendly, super welcoming. A lot of the old customers that been coming here for generations now still come here. They're now my customers, and I have a huge responsibility to continue to carry that legacy and that passion forward.
Now, I know that Travis Tritt was a big influence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I was influenced. I was one of the lucky ones to grow up during that early '90s, just boom of country music. That was when I was getting heavily influenced as an artist, as a singer, whatever. And so I tell people all the time, they're like, who were some of your influences? I'm like, if you were on the radio between 1988 and 95, that you were influencing me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever be that good anymore.
No, I don't either.
And so I always say I was taught by the best. But yeah, Travis Tritt was probably my favorite. If I had to pick a favorite, it'd be him.
Well, that's a good one to choose because you talk about a guy that's got a lot of. I mean, he can do rhythm and blues.
I know,
Everything.
so versatile. I know he has a reputation of doing kind of those rowdy, honky tonk, but man, nobody can lay down a ballad like that dude.
Ballads, bluegrass, rock and roll, southern rock, gospel. He could do it all, and he could play. He was an amazing musician, still is, and also just a great songwriter. Like if you go back and look at the credits, he either solo wrote most of those songs, or maybe just him and one other person. Just very, very I looked up to that.
Well, and one thing I like too, because when I was coming up, the guys that I really got into were Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard. David Allenco was another one, even though he's crazy. But one thing I loved about Travis Tritt was that if you look at Waylon's last show at the Ryman, they're doing I've Always Been Crazy, and Travis does guitar solo in it. And he
just tore it out.
Tore it sounded like Travis's version of Waylon's playing. And it was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Travis is, he's top notch.
Yeah, he's just a great entertainer.
Yeah.
So when did you get your first? Because one of your first records was "Family Man." Was that
it was the first single.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I moved here in 2002, and again, all I wanted to do was be here and be around other people. I just my goal. I never had the dream of being on the radio. There was never part of the plan. All I wanted to do was be here, play music, and pay my bills. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so what that meant to me was I got to get on Lower Broadway. So being a piano player, that's how I got my foot in the door. I played piano for almost everybody on Lower Broadway. I was playing piano for those folks, and then slowly started getting my own gigs and on Lower Broadway, and And in the meantime, became friends with some other folks and got hired to play piano for Luke Bryan. Before Luke signed his record deal, we met, and he was doing shows in Georgia and like college towns, and so I was his piano player for a hot minute, and then after that, I got hired to play for Tracy Byrd. Played for him for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and all the while just still doing my Lower Broadway stuff, and yeah, so I was playing at a place called The Stage.
Yeah.
And there was a bartender there. Her name's Kimmy. She was dating a guy in the music business. She told him, she's like, you got to come see this guy. And he did. He came a solid year and a half. Every Tuesday night, that was my spot, and he would come. He'd sit there and watch. And then one night he said, you're ready. We're about to open a record label. We want you to be our guy. And that was in 2008. I finally signed my record deal with them in 2009, and Family Man came out 2010.
Yeah, the video for Family Man is really, really special. Whose concept was that? Did you have any input in the visuals on that video?
I had some input, but it was a video that was the idea for that video came from Sean Silva. He was the director on that video. But I did want my girls in it. Mm-hmm. So Presley's in it. She was 2.5, maybe almost 3.
Is she the little girl picking the flag? Oh, God,
that's Presley.
Adorable.
And then Kenny has just been born. And that was the girl. The lady in the video was not my wife, because my wife, she was just fresh off of having a baby, so she didn't feel like she was camera ready. But in retrospect, we should have made it happen. That out of all the songs that I ever made a music video for, she should have been in that video, and we both agree. But can't cry over spilled milk.
That's true. That's true. How many kids do you have?
Just the 2.
Just the 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always curious about when people come to town, and you hear about the stories. You came here in 2002, you said, got the real work really started happening in 2009. You get signed. I always say it's the initial years leading up to getting signed. And then, oh, hey, we got signed. Now the real work happens, because now you got to try and, it's either slow and steady wins the race, or it's a pop flash and you're just, all those types of things happen. Did you have that expectation coming in, like coming to town? Did you know it would take 3, 5, 6 years, somewhere in there?
I mean, yeah, because you heard about, and again, it never was. When I got to Nashville, it wasn't, I got to get a record deal,
right?
And I wasn't trying to get to that spot. It was a gradual. Oh, I met this guy, and then I started writing songs with this guy, and then met this publisher, and then they was like, man, and you start seeing the friends that you make while you're here getting publishing deals and getting songs cut and getting record deals, and you're like, well, I mean, I think I'd like to do that, Yeah. But yeah, I never thought that, like, the idea that it would take an X amount of time, it wasn't part of it.
So the whole impetus was to basically I just need to get to Nashville and raise my game.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to be here. I knew that growing up in South Georgia, I felt like I was good at what I was doing, but I knew that I was as good as I would ever be in South Georgia, and I wanted to. And when I got to Nashville, I would step on stage playing piano for A-list musicians, and I'm over here like struggling, and it was one of those situations where either I get better or they'll never hire me again.
Right.
And so I was always trying to be better at my craft.
Yeah. So you felt like coming here would challenge you and force you, quote unquote, to raise your game, or you got to go home
for sure. And that's
So how old were you when you came to town?
I was I was 23 when I got here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And even being a piano player, you have an edge, because there's so many guitar players, so many singers, so many wannabe artists, so many drummers.
Yeah.
You and the bass player are kind of like a rarity. You're a rare commodity.
Just, to hit on that for a second. Yeah, when I got to Nashville on Lower Broadway, Lower Broadway was a thing. It was a scene. And there was maybe 1, maybe 2 other piano players. So if you were a singer and you wanted piano in your band, I mean, you're calling one of us, and there were, at the time, probably 10 or 12 stages down there.
Yeah.
And so I was working 5-6 nights a week and I was making enough money that when I did finally get offered a record deal, they said, hey, we need you to stop playing Lower Broadway. We need you to stop singing demos for other songwriters. And here's what we're going to pay you as a draw. And it wasn't even half of what I was making. I said, that ain't going to work. That ain't gonna
You
work.
need to cut your pay in half.
Yeah.
So
and stop doing side hustles.
So we did. We negotiated in my deal. I was able to any gig $500 and below, I get to keep the money because the deal that I had was a complete 360 deal, and then also I was able to keep singing demos. But they told me at least be very selective of the songwriters that you sing demos for. Now I played Lower Broadway. Family Man was a top 40 before I ever quit.
Yeah.
They finally, the record label finally said, okay, enough's enough. I was like, but I'm having so much fun. So yeah, Family Man was in high 30s. It was in January of 2011 when I finally was like, yeah, I guess I got to quit Lower Broadway.
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious about the demo singing thing. I know Joe Diffie, Janie Frick, a lot of folks were demo singers, Shania Twain and others. But
Rick Bentley, too.
Yeah, right. I mean, did you ever come across a tune that you kind of put in your back pocket that you were able to put on one of your albums?
I did, but it was late in the game, and I had already kind of started working with Bigger Picture and Keith Stegall specifically.
Keith Stegall, who was a great artist in his own right back in the 80s.
So when me and Keith, when they knew I was going to sign with them, Keith's way of feeling me out, he hired me to sing some demos. And one of them was a song he wrote with Lee Bryce called All Night to Get There. And I loved it. And so when it came time to do the first album, I said, I want to record that song. So that was the one. But like I said, we were already kind of in the process. It's almost like he was pitching it. He was checking me out as to how I operated in the studio. And then also I think he was just pitching that song to me in a way. And but no, there's only one other situation where I sang the demo that I ever heard somebody else cut it. And I sang a song called Braid My Hair that Randy Owen put out back when he hit like his first solo project. He was doing a song for St. Jude, and it was talking about a little girl with cancer, and her all she wanted to do was braid her hair. That was only out of the hundreds and hundreds of demos that I had sang, that was the only one I ever heard somebody cut. And I was like, well, I don't know what that says about me as a demo singer, but I had fun with it, and it taught me a lot.
Now, from what I understand, in Georgia, were you part of the True Value Country Showdown?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I'll tell you why I have an interest in that.
So yeah, I was. That's where the stage bug bit me. I was 15, and my sister had signed me up for this contest, and I didn't know anything about it. And she signed me up, and then she helped me pick 2 songs, because you sing 2 songs,
right?
So on the local level, and so I ended up winning. I won, and the local level, I won out of 22 contestants. I won, and that was when I said, man, I really like being up here and singing these songs and having people cheer. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
I was one of the producers for that.
Really?
From 1990 to 95. Went all over the country chasing that thing.
My first one was 94, and then and then I won again in 97. Like I say, local. I won the local.
Yeah, so you went to the state show, and
I went to the state and got my ass handed to me.
I never did produce.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, we would have run into one another if I had done one of the Georgia stage show. But anyway, I just found that interesting.
Right.
That used to be the Wrangler Country Showdown before it became True Value, GMC Truck.
And then Colgate.
Yes, the Colgate Country Showdown. You had Jimmy Dean. Was Jimmy Dean Sausage?
Well, that was the one was the Jimmy Dean True Value Country Showdown. That was
right.
the one I did.
Yeah.
And then at the club where they were having it every year, after I think I was in it 6 years in a row, and then that was when I put my band together. So then we became the backing band.
Oh, yeah,
For the next couple of years.
For the next couple of years? Yeah. I believe there was a club in Marietta that was a state location on a couple of occasions.
The Buckboard, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it was Cowboy. You know, everybody had a Cowboys.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Kennesaw. There's a Cowboys in Kennesaw. Or there was.
There was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just found that interesting.
Right on. Yeah.
That, I don't know. Hell, maybe we did cross paths.
You probably did.
Probably.
Or if you did, though, I think he'd remember you, Jay, because you're hard. You're hard to forget.
Of course, that was 30 years and 30 pounds ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
One thing I love about your trajectory, it reminds me a lot of how Gary Stewart came into Nashville, because he played keyboards as well, and that seems to be. I think when someone, because I like what you're saying, is that you said you kind of just went bit by bit.
Yeah.
You basically taking baby steps to get where to where you're a star. And I think that's what I hear from a lot of headliners, is that they don't. I didn't think about big arenas or anything like that when I was starting out. I was just trying to get to this level and then go from here to the next level. And I think that's where a lot of successful country acts, I think that's how they get successful.
And how famous? You get people ask, how famous do you want to be? I was like, well, I don't think anybody that's selling out stadiums ever came to a spot and said, yeah, this is good. I'll just stay right here in this spot. You keep. I think human nature you always want to get whatever that next level is. You're trying to get to that, no matter what it is. And for me, like, I've never had a number one song in country radio. That's my. And as an artist, I don't think I'll ever get there now. But that was always that threshold. And then after that, I don't know what would have been next. But that was the most, like, right in front of me. This is what I want as after signing a record deal and having songs on the radio and having successful songs on the radio. I still hadn't had that number one song yet. I was like, okay, well, that's next for me. And then what after that, I don't know what would have been.
Yeah.
Well, nobody ever says, hey, I only want to be this famous. You can't stop it. If it keeps going, you keep going.
Exactly. You just keep climbing.
Yeah.
But one thing I dig about you compared to a lot of artists, it seems like you're really well grounded. You're not, it doesn't seem like you're, having a drug problem or, you're destroying your life. You've always seemed like you're even keel, like you're a stand-up guy.
Well, there has been some things behind the scenes that have humbled me. I remember early on with Family Man. Family Man came out and we did extremely well. It was a top 15. It was a ballad. As for a brand new artist on an independent label, all the things that were going against me, we still had a hit. And then the song after that, Fish, it didn't chart very well. It went to 23 or so, but it was highly consumed. It was.
Well, I like that too.
So those first two songs, I'm like, man, this is easy. And then the third song rolls around and it races to number 38 and just done. And I'm like, oh. And then, so that whole year, I'm seeing money coming in that I've never seen in my whole life. Mm-hmm. So me and my wife, we're blowing through it.
Yeah.
And then January rolls around, February, and we get hit with our tax bill.
Oh, yes.
And we didn't expect that. And so then here I am. We're stuck with, I don't know what we're going to do. And so that was a wake-up call. And then the record label closing and signing a new record deal, and just my whole career has been a roller coaster. So I have been humbled in many ways, and I've also I'm pride myself in knowing what I can and can't control. The prayer of serenity,
right?
And I'm really good at it. And my wife, she worries about stuff, and I don't. And so we're very we're yin and yang,
right?
But I've my whole life I say, well, I can't, ain't nothing I can do about it, just
right.
You know, you've mentioned how, Trace Adkins, Travis Tritt, friends and folks you've looked up to, they've done the acting thing and quite well. Both of them are pretty darn good actors. I mean, have you ever had that bug or any interest in that?
I absolutely would love to. I've even mentioned it to Trace. I'm like, hey, if you ever hear of of any kind of small roles that I can just hop in and do a line or two, I mean, I'm your guy. I'd love to. I just, outside of just music videos and some content, local social media content as of late, I've not been able to get on a real set, but I'd love to.
Yeah. Well, I do think, we talked quite a bit about who's the guy that does all the Western stuff.
Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, Taylor Sheridan. Yeah, I mean, you could certainly slide into
Man,
some of that stuff.
I'd love to meet Taylor and see if he could throw me some crumbs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he could have you on. What is it?
Landman.
Landman.
I would love any of those.
Dutton Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Landman's great because it's got already got country music. You got Mark Colley and even Billy Bob. Billy Bob's got a pretty good band.
Both of those guys, Colley and Billy Bob, were at the IndyCar race.
Yeah, they were.
And matter of fact, Mark Colley, he did the green flag when they finally raced, when they finally got the race going.
Oh, did he?
On the Monday.
Yeah.
Now, I understand, Craig, I mean, you come from a broken home as a young man, a little boy, and your natural father, he passed away when you were fairly young, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, did that influence, I go back to, Merle Haggard. I mean, I'm sure the man certainly wanted his dad around, but, in my mind, we would not have had Merle Haggard had his father not passed away when he did.
That's true.
It really turned the Hag into what he became from a songwriting perspective and so forth. I mean, when you look back on that, does his passing at a younger age for you, did it have any impact on the songwriter or anything that your musicianship has evolved into?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
My dad and my mom, they divorced when I was a baby.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember them ever living in the same house. And so I only got to see him every other weekend. And he was sick for a couple of those years. So wasn't like a consistent every other weekend. There was times where, and he was also in prison a couple of times too. So there were stretches of just not seeing him for, so I didn't know him very well. So when he died, he's my dad. I'm trying to figure out the best description. He was my dad, like my biological dad on paper, but I didn't know the guy very well.
Got you.
So musically, no, there's nothing. I don't miss anything about him because I didn't know him.
Right. And I hope I didn't bring up an uncomfortable subject for you, but I always find it interesting when you look at successful artists and what the dynamic was of them growing up that in large part may have shaped, them from certainly from a life perspective it does, but I'm just wondering, from a musical perspective.
Well,
so I was just curious.
On the other side of that, my stepdad, he was in my life, and he came into my life when I was about 7, and he raised me. And so if you like Outskirts of Heaven, when I say my grandpa taught me, he's really saying my stepdad, because I didn't know either of my grandpas either, but grandpa sang better than stepdad. So in Outskirts of Heaven, I put my grandpa taught me, but it was in actual, all those things that I listed were my stepdad taught me.
Well, and your mother too in church, didn't she?
Mama was, she was. We'd go to church, and she was a great singer, still is, and I'd stand beside her and hear her singing, and she was really good at harmony, and I didn't know at the time, as a kid, I didn't know what harmony was. I just knew she was doing something different than the rest of the church, but it sounded really cool. So by accident or just me in approximate closeness, she taught me harmony just by standing beside her in church and singing those old gospel hymns.
Yeah, I think gospel, a lot of people don't realize, but gospel music has been very influential in all kinds of music, like rock music, blues, and country.
And so many artists, I mean, you know, we sit here on the podcast talking to many artists like you, and most, though, all of them say that gospel is kind of where they started.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
or at least started being introduced to music anyway.
Yeah.
You know, Chris Golden, Trace Adkins. I mean, many of the artists that we've had here have all said that, you know. That's kind of where they got the bug.
For me, yeah, it was my mama would go to church and take us with her, and she was a chatterbox. So church was over, she's over there hanging out with the other ladies, and I'm just walking around with nothing, nobody, you know. So I found myself at the piano, and I was intrigued by it. I wasn't like banging, you know, like some kids just want to make noise. I was just truly interested, and she saw that because anytime I got lost, she knew where to find me. And so she heard my stepdad bought a piano and brought it into the house, and just started teaching myself.
What kind of piano was it? Was it an upright?
I still have it. Yeah, it's I have it now at my house.
Oh, yeah.
It's upright.
Yeah, that's how my brother started. He started. How old were you?
Yeah, 7, 8.
7, 8. Yeah,
Something like that.
he was about 6 years old when he started playing. He's still playing though.
So you had no formal training? You just, that's impressive to teach yourself to the level where you can compete on Lower Broad. Yeah. You've done good.
Speaking as a musician, I'm a drummer. Not really a musician.
Yeah.
But self-taught.
Oxymoron, would we?
When you teach yourself, it really kind of like getting formal education in music can kind of shackle you. I mean, that's what made Eddie Van Halen so good.
Right.
He's self-taught. I mean, it kind of helps you explore the instrument in a more unorthodox way.
But on the flip side, I plateaued.
Yeah.
You know, I taught myself everything I could teach myself. So when I got to Nashville, you know, I would watch other piano players and just watch their hands, and I'm like, oh, that was cool. And then you know, getting the Tracy Byrd gig and having to learn records to the note.
Yeah. Did you learn how to chart and read music and everything?
No, just numbers.
Yeah, just the number system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's amazing to me, is that such a musician-rich town, how not like a good majority of the people here are not formally educated.
They don't. Yeah. Can't read notes on a paper.
It's crazy.
I will say that people that read music and can read and play at the same exact time, that's impressive.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you were talking about how you have seen a lot of the great musicians were not formally taught. You know, on the flip side of that, you look at Elton John, who was very formally, trained, but then he, you know, started adding his, you know, I still say, even at almost 80 years old, the dude is still one of the greatest piano players ever.
Oh, sure.
You know, the dude's just brilliant. But so, you know, I think it just kind of, you know, whatever you're exposed to, if you've got the talent, you know, it shows one way or the other.
Yeah, it does. Well, and I liked what Eddie Van Halen said. He said, throw away the rule book. He said, if it sounds good, it is.
Right.
He literally looked at the guitar of what else can it do?
Right.
What else can I make it do? My buddy Rich Redmond, who plays for Aldine, he came to town. He calls himself a highly educated, he's got a master's in education, highly educated drummer. And he says, I thought I would have come in here and dominate this town. He says, but man, I got, you know, a comeuppance of comeuppances. Like, you know, no, that I need to get into the club. I need to start. It was all about relationships, you know?
Well, and the thing is about this town, everybody, I think, comes to town feeling that way. Like, I'm going to own this town.
Get ready, Nashville.
Yeah,
I'm here.
I'm here. And you don't realize there are thousands.
Yeah. Nashville ain't ready for me.
Yeah.
It's like the woo girls that come here. They're not ready for it. Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
They're ready to charge you $18 beers. Trust me.
Yes. But that's one thing. It's the great humbling when you finally get here and you go, my God, the waitress has more talent than I do.
Right.
I mean, I did the Huey gig about a year ago. I played for a Huey Lewis and the News tribute band.
Okay.
And I had some rust. So I had to shake off the rust. And I probably practiced that show for about 3 months before we played City Winery, knowing I was going to be playing with just these rock stars. You know what I mean? I'm like, and who am I? Well, little Jim McCarthy from Danbury, Connecticut that, has this opportunity. I know I could bring it, but it's still, Chris Rodriguez on guitar. I mean, the dude played with Keith Urban for probably 15 years. And, Scott Sheriff on keyboards. He's playing for Carrie Underwood and Steve Nieves. I don't know if you know, a sax player of my God.
Who called you for the gig?
He was a guy in my B&I. I belong to a business networking group, and one of the guys in the group has a band that's a Huey Lewis and the News tribute band. That's one of the things I always wanted to do. So I met him and I said, I'm going to play for you.
So somebody thought you were good enough to do it.
They saw some videos of me and my brother playing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You belonged in that situation.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Now, Craig, I've always felt that way. I was surrounded by people way better than me.
Yeah.
But I always felt like I belonged. Yeah. I never thought like, oh God, I got to, this ain't,
Yeah.
I don't fit in. I was always in the mindset, these are my people. And I'm just, yeah.
Did you ever get into a studio and get vibed? They always talk about people vibing. You know what that is? Where basically you walk into a studio and it's like they make you feel like you don't belong.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Especially early on when I was writing songs and we would demo songs. And I knew I was close to signing a record deal. And I knew that things were coming. And so some of the musicians would treat me like I wasn't. Yeah. I'm not going to say his name, but there was a particular guitar player that I knew what I wanted out of this song. It's my song. I wrote it, and I was potentially going to put it on a record. And he just wasn't having it, and he checked out. And I said, you know what? I didn't say this to him, but you'll never play on another record of mine. Wow. And if somebody asks me about you, I'm going to tell them exactly how I feel about you.
And who is this?
See, that's what Jim does. Jim tries to get names out of people.
You were just waiting for it, weren't you?
Yeah, I was waiting for Jim to do that. But that happens so much in Nashville. It also happens in radio too.
Yeah,
we have radio people that
we had a voice guy that did that to us. Like the Jack voice guy, Howard Kogan.
Yeah,
he would critique the copy, and I'm not reading that. I'm like, dude, we're paying you to you read the freaking line. Holy crap. This isn't, hey, you get to pick and choose.
Well, I just remember there was a DJ in town that I really admired. I loved his voice. And we were moving into the same building. I won't say what radio station it was. It was a country station. A big one.
Is this recent?
No, this was
the last decade?
Probably in the
aughts.
The 90s.
Oh, okay.
It was in the 90s. And so I got to meet this guy and walked into the studio because number one, I didn't want to bother him. And the production guy said, no, man, he'd love to meet you, whatever. And because by that time we had made a name for ourselves in radio. Mm-hmm. And so he brings me into the studio. Boy, this guy couldn't have been nastier. Didn't even say nice to meet you, whatever. He just blessed out the production guy about some copy that he had. Never acknowledged me, whatever. And I walked out of there thinking, God.
What a jackass.
Yeah, I mean, it just.
Yeah. And who was
so
this?
I was kind of like you. Yeah, and who was this guy?
And who are we talking about again?
And another side to that was I would be tracking a demo. And so if, let's say I book the session, I'm going to try to get 4 songs out of this session, and your co-writers will show up when you know their song is getting recorded, and then occasionally you'd have written a song with somebody that has a name, a producer, and you could just see like a successful producer.
Yes,
and you could just see the musician's demeanor change as soon as that producer walks in, still me, it's still my song, but it just so happens this guy is a co-writer and he has the producer creds. So then they all, yes sir, that type, and it's just frustrating. It was, but I haven't felt that way in a long time. But I do remember those.
My dad used to call guitar players like the ones you encountered. He called them wounded guitar pickers.
Wounded,
he said,
yeah.
You found a lot of wounded guitar pickers in
hurt
Nashville.
people, yeah.
Well, Wade Hayes said that he encountered that as a outstanding guitar player,
right?
In the studio where he was kind of made to feel like he didn't measure up, kind of thing.
Oh, sure.
As a young man coming into a studio,
I never got told like no, absolutely no, but I never got offered the opportunity to play piano on my records. So in a way, that was, and granted, I'm good at what I do, and which in turn I think would make my records more authentic.
right?
But yeah, they never let me play on my records, but now I do because I can do what I want.
Do what you want. Yeah. Now, did you? You said you had a friend that invited you up to town, and so you came here as a single man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you met your wife here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like your family, like most of us, means the world to you. So tell us, how and where did you meet your wife?
So I knew Mindy before I got to town. My bass player was already he lived here. So he would commute down to Georgia when we had our band, and before I ever moved to Nashville. He dated her roommate, so I knew who she was. And every time we would come kind of through Nashville, we would stop by, and she was playing on Lower Broadway, so we would stop in and watch her show. And I was always just like thought she was a smoke show, and but she always had a boyfriend, and so yeah, 2003, I was here about a year, and she needed a piano player for a gig coming up, and she called me, and I said, yeah, I'm in, and
that's where it all began.
That's it, right? That's right. Yeah. So we got together for rehearsal, and then when the rehearsal was over, all the rest of the band left except me.
Yes.
So yeah, and we've been together ever since.
Yeah, conniving, maneuvering Craig.
That's what a guy's got to do.
I said, hey guys, y'all go
woo the
ahead.
ladies.
I need to talk to Mindy about some stuff. Y'all,
There you go.
I've got some ivories to tickle, or something.
So your daughter named Presley, is that an Elvis fan coming out in someone, or is that just a name you liked?
No, we just liked the name Presley, and it's got two E's at the end. Her Mindy's dad, Terry, his middle name is Lee. Mm-hmm. So he was like, I sure would like to get. So
yeah.
So it's a little nod to Grandpa.
That's
so it's
nice.
Presley.
Yeah. As long as it's not like PRESSLEIG
apostrophe.
I mean, granted, like the two E's is already enough trouble,
right? Because everyone thinks Presley,
right? But
like I did,
like
right?
Elvis,
Yeah.
So what drew you guys to Eagleville to live?
We made a couple of really awful financial decisions. When I first met Mindy, she owned a tanning salon in Franklin. And while we were there, while we were together, we bought the next door to us was a Sprint store, PCS, like cell phone.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like expanding our portfolio, and this guy overheard us, and he's like, well, you should buy this place since it's right next door to each other. And we never saw him coming. He took total advantage of us, and we ended up having to downsize. And so, because we lived right off of Liberty Pike in Franklin, nice little house, and so we needed somewhere to go that wasn't as that we could buy a house and live in this house for a lot less money. So she found a house in Eagleville, and for $94,000.
Wow.
What year was this?
It was 05.
Oh, wow.
So Eagleville was
that was nothing back then. I moved here in 05, and Spring Hill was nothing. Bedroom community.
Yeah. So she found that house. I was actually out on the road with Tracy Byrd, and she calls and says, hey, I found house. I said, cool. And she said, I put an offer in on it. I was like, hey, great. And then she's like, they accepted.
Oh,
so
wow.
I never saw the house until we were signing the paperwork.
And now it's worth millions.
For somebody else, yeah. We sold it about a year and a half later, and because we built a house to sell in Eagleville, and that's right when the market crashed back in like 07.
Yeah.
08. Yeah.
So we ended up moving into it, and then we lived there for probably 12, 13 years. Now we live in a farmhouse with a little bit of acreage.
So you bought the second house right around like prior to 08 and then sold it right around COVID time where the real estate went nuts.
So we sold it in 18. No, I take it back. We sold it in 19. We bought the farmhouse in 18, and we had about a year
of overlap
of where we could, because we renovated. But yeah, it was right before that. It was peak.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
what kind of gigs have you had outside of music? Have you had, a quote unquote real job before
Oh,
you?
yeah.
I mean, like most of us.
So correctional officer,
Yeah, you
graduated
did
high school.
mention
then,
that. Yeah, I mean,
I
that
went-
had to be was it for a men's prison? Women? Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't do.
Yeah.
I couldn't do a women's prison. I don't. I have visited a women's prison, and I'm just like, no, this is nuts. I don't think any dude should be in a.
Yeah, I know. You hear the story.
Yeah.
You see the stuff on the news that happens with those situations. I see the stuff on AME. The stuff in these prisons, man. Was it like maximum security? I mean, were you dealing with a lot of just really bad people? Or?
No, my first prison was a level 5, which is one below Supermax, and it was fine. They had them in sections. They weren't going to throw an 18-year-old kid into the wolves. So I mean, I was babysitting grown men that knew their role, and they were in the mindset of like, I'm not going to do anything to interrupt my peaceful life that I have here. So they knew how, as long as I treated them with respect, and it was a.
So were there ever any times where you felt kind of freaked out or scared?
Yeah, there was one time a fight broke out, and when they fight, it's
brutal.
It's a
you
real
got
deal.
nothing to lose kind of guys.
I mean, they teach you just say 10-10, and I mean, 5-10 seconds later, the CERT team's in there, and it's when the CERT team shows up, all is good. All is good. Yeah. And then my second prison that was closer to home was more of a work camp. Essentially, they had people driving trucks and tractors, and they'd go out and do their work, and then they'd come back and go to their cell. Like a lot of trustees is what they called them.
Yeah.
And so that was a job, and then I was playing music, and then I moved to Nashville. I was a maintenance man at an apartment complex.
Yeah,
that was my first job here. And then, like I said, my wife owned a tanning salon, so I cleaned tanning beds a lot on the Sprint PCS store. And so I activated phones all day. And then outside of that, just singing demos, music stuff, and then now restaurant owner.
Yeah. Very cool.
And that had to be quite was it did it seem daunting to take over, like to become a restaurant owner?
It didn't, because my whole plan was just a little old coffee shop that served a small menu of food. We never thought it would turn into what it has turned into. So we were never like scared of it. But I will say the first couple of months were pretty wild because we were having to learn on the go. And it was, to this day, it's still like Saturdays. On Saturdays, we can't serve one more plate.
Oh, it just took off, man.
So you've always you and your wife just kind of ran it yourself by yourselves initially?
Oh, no. We had a team.
Yeah, okay.
Mindy's, that's her, probably 80% of her job is managing employees. And so we don't have anybody that's still with us from day one, but we always have a good crew.
Yeah, well, that's good because you hear so many business owners say, gosh, finding reliable help.
Oh, no, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The perfect employee is a unicorn.
Yeah.
You either get somebody that's really good at what they do, but just won't show up.
In restaurants, how many people you have to go through to find the one?
Well, you can't. There is no one.
Oh, really?
Oh no, it's now.
Well, the one that meets 75% of the
Okay,
expectations.
so we got you get lucky, and it's especially like because in our line of work, what we offer, it's not a career, so to speak. Like if you want to better yourself, there's, do you want to just lock yourself down to $22 an hour gig? But then you run into people that have a spouse that makes a good living, that they don't have to work, but they love being around people and making drinks, and so that's a good employee.
Yeah.
And then it's.
So Johnny, you heard that? $22 an hour?
Hey,
I mean, that's more than radio, man.
maybe we should. I think maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. I mean, did you bring any applications with you?
Yeah, we may
It's
want to
all
fill one
online,
out
buddy.
while we're here.
Okay.
It's all online.
Yeah.
We take applications all day.
Well, and two, you guys, because when I heard you were moving, you were going to open another one in Shelbyville. I was thinking back to, I don't know if you've watched Bar Rescue.
I have a couple of times.
Yeah, John Taffer got involved with a club down in Shelbyville, and he was a little iffy about it because he said, the median income down here is not very high. And he said, I don't know how well this is. You see, we're going to have to really, really adjust the bar to where these people can afford it. And I was a little worried for you guys because I thought, well, Shelbyville is kind of not putting the town down because it's a very nice small town. But you guys have been, from what I understand, because I have not been there yet, but from what I hear from people is that you guys have been successful down there. It's always packed. It's always bringing in people.
Shelbyville's, there's a lot more money around there than you think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They have, but at the same time, we want to serve everyone.
Right.
So yeah, we don't have fast food prices, but at the same token, we don't have Ruth Chris prices either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you might not be able to come. There's probably a large amount of the population in Shelbyville that can't come to Grindstone Cowboy every day.
Right.
But they can visit and we have a menu that caters for budgets. But then we'll have concerts where we're charging $75, $100 a head. And,
we had Pam Tillis recently.
Pam Tillis, and it's sold out in days.
Yeah.
So there we have something for everyone.
Yeah.
And we knew that, and so I feel like that's part of why we have been successful in Shelbyville.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
So any more expansion plans? I know you're just, kind of getting started in Shelbyville in one respect, but I mean, you still eyeballing some other locations.
Yeah, we got one being built right now. It's supposed to be
cool.
open in March down on 30A. And so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Never thought we'd own a Grindstone Cowboy in Florida, but it's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah,
So.
very nice.
Well, we just wish
congratulations.
you, we wish you a lot of success on that because my wife and I went to, we've gone a couple of times to the Grindstone Cowboy in Eagleville. And I would stress to any, tourist that comes to Nashville, make the drive down because you're going to love the place.
Well, and that was part of our pitch. We're trying to get involved with the Nashville tourism because I feel like it'd be a great day trip. There's straight south. You come through, you hit Arrington Vineyards, you hit Grindstone Cowboy, you go on down, you hit nearest Green Distillery.
Right.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen with those guys yet, but you can still 20 minutes from there. We got Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah,
It's all in a line.
George Dickel.
Yep.
Yep.
And so we're trying to build something that when you do come to Nashville, what's there to do? And we want to be on that list.
Well, and plus, no offense to Nashville, but everybody's nicer down here.
Yeah.
Sure. That's the whole thing. It's more of what you're used to, where you came from. But it's got so much. Well, in fact, Eagleville itself, you have the restaurant that we were just talking about, Sorelli's. Oh
so
man, that
good.
is so good.
They're crushing it. Like they're printing money down there. And then we got the Mexican restaurant that's I travel.
Las Fiestas.
Las Fiestas, and I travel all over the place. And I'm not saying it because it's ours, but it's one of the best Mexican restaurants I've ever been to.
In fact, that's the first time that my wife and I had dinner with Trace and his wife. Was at Las Fiestas. Yeah.
Was a quick funny story. When we moved to Eagleville, my wife was so excited about that house that we bought was walking distance to Mexican restaurant. She was so excited to be able to just walk down and have a margarita.
Oh yeah.
And come to find out, 2005, Eagleville was a dry city.
Oh man.
I mean, they didn't have nothing, no beer, no nothing. And so, but we had bought the house before we ever knew that.
So is that why you became a councilman?
Yeah, well, it slowly changed itself. Like they got a beer license, and then slowly got liquor by the drink, and so but one of the reasons she loved Eagleville was that Mexican restaurant and having a margarita. But then come to find out, it was not even.
Oh man.
Well, we've been talking about taking the podcast on the road. It sounds like Grindstone Cowboy might be.
It
would be awesome.
Yeah, we've been wanting to, and we've got some ideas about doing the podcast live streaming.
Yeah, and I've thought about doing not me doing a podcast, but having someone come do a podcast at either Eagleville or Shelbyville, but even like pumping it into the system so people in the audience can listen to what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
So maybe we need to go to Shelbyville.
Yeah, Shelbyville.
Yeah,
because it's bigger. The stage is bigger, and the facilities as far as PA and production are there. Too.
Yeah. So you're a councilman. Now, do you have any aspirations for political office at all? None? No. You don't want to go down that route?
You saw that look of terror?
Yeah, I did. It was like, no.
There's too many skeletons in my closet. No, I'm, selfishly, I love Eagleville. I do want what's best for Eagleville, but I was more interested in keeping my eye on the ball with what's happening in Eagleville as it pertains to Grindstone.
Yeah.
And it all works together. But now, Eagleville is about to do some really cool things that I see coming down the pipe, and now I'm like, okay, I want to be a part of that, and so I want to help make that happen. So
yeah, Eagleville, it's really starting to remind me of kind of like a small Gatlinburg, so to speak.
Really?
Yeah, because it's starting to get like they close off. Was it like the first Friday?
Well, we did last year. This year they didn't do it because it became. There was one lady that was running the whole thing, and she just got overwhelmed, and bless her heart, there was just we couldn't get commitment from other people to help.
Oh man, that's sad. I thought that was because
it was great.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was like a little festival.
She worked her butt off, and it was. I felt bad, but I couldn't commit either because that's when I travel is on Fridays and Saturdays,
right.
So I was never there. But yeah, it was. She just said, "Hey, I can't do it anymore." So we paused it for this year. Hopefully, we'll bring it back next year.
Craig, we talk a lot here on the podcast with artists such as yourself about the state of today's music and radio and labels and all that. I mean, AI and online streaming and such. I mean, you've been through the wars and have seen this transition from, the early 2000s to, what we're dealing with today. Are you optimistic about the status of country music and radio and getting your music out there and such? What's your feeling on that?
I can't say I'm optimistic. It's the wild, wild west. It's nobody knows what's going on, especially with the AI stuff. I feel like since I came on the scene in 2010, that it has changed so fast.
Yeah.
From this to this to this to this
speed.
So like even when I signed my record deal, it was still album based. So you would put a song on the radio and then you would try to time it out to where it was going to peak. When that song peaked, that's when you dropped your album.
Right.
And then you try to have those first that first week album sales was so important. And within just a couple of years, it's kind of albums were like not the focus. It was more single song downloads, like downloading it at $1.29 a pop. So then that was the big deal. And then just a few years after that, that wasn't important anymore. Now it's streaming. And this all happened within 10 years. Well, so I don't know what's coming down the pipe.
Well, you mentioned, heck, you did all those demos. I mean, hell, demo singers and all that.
It's not a thing anymore.
You don't need that now. Go to Suno. And
it's frustrating. I feel bad for some of the musicians because they made that's how they paid their bills. We're playing on these demos. Now, I mean, you can throw your lyrics into Suno and get a demo back in 45 seconds. And, and I'm guilty of it. I do it. I do it more of a reference type situation. Like, hey, just get some ideas. But as far as just the musicians that are getting work taken off of their, because at the risk of sounding hypocritical, I still feel like the musicians are getting taken advantage of, but at the same time, if you get a guy or anybody that's moving to Nashville that has a desire to write songs and they have it in their heart, but they're broke, and they write a song with so and so, two other co-writers that have publishing deals, and then they don't. Or they write a song by themselves that they don't have a publishing deal. They don't have $3,500 to demo a song, or $2,000. So Suno is helping them. It's a good thing for them.
Yeah.
I fear that Suno is also creating a false sense of creativity. I think people are throwing ideas up into Suno and then they're spitting out lyrics, and so then now that person thinks they're a songwriter. Yeah. When I use it, it's a complete lyric and it's a complete work tape. And I'm getting production ideas, but so who knows I don't know.
I think the romanticizing of the past can be problematic for any creative industry. Certainly, we've seen it in radio.
Yes.
Instead of embracing the pivoting of technology is a freight train that's coming down the tracks, doesn't care who's standing on it.
100%.
And when you have AI, and a lot of the new business models seems to be going this way, we've brought it up in the past, where you're able to conjure up an avatar of an artist, create an entire album, and then throw it up on Spotify and see what happens. That's becoming a business model now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people outside of the business, one person in particular said, then that's the business I would get into. That's the way it's moving.
You definitely need to get on it, get on the train. It like you said, it's coming.
Yep.
The one thing that woke me up really about what AI, and because we're still in the infancy stage of all that.
Right.
But when I realized that the big DSPs are creating their own music.
Yep.
AI. And then they're placing that music at the top of the playlists. Mm-hmm. That's frustrating. You can't compete with that.
Right.
You can't, nobody, unless you get into bed with them on like the record labels have. And it's tough.
I think the only way you can combat that is a really rockin' live show.
Yeah.
And make sure that you've got a social media strategy and plan. That's just
you got to get people to the shows.
Yeah, onslaught of just this is human music.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever replace that.
No.
And I say that, and then I immediately think, well, don't say never, because there's some of these kids that are listening to music now. They don't even. You go to, for instance, you go to a Taylor Swift concert and you're in the nosebleeds and you look way down there and Taylor's this tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you know she's real?
Well, that's what bothers me about music today, especially concerts. They are so overly expensive that I remember when I was coming up, and a lot of musicians that have come up, they could afford to go to the shows. They weren't that expensive.
Yeah, $8,
but
$10,
but now, I mean, Eddie Van Halen coming up, he was not rich. The guy was poor.
Yeah.
But yet he got to go into a Cream concert and then
get exposure.
Yeah, and it bothers me that there may be a lot of future musicians that are not getting as close of a view that could inspire them.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
The flip side of that, though, to counter that, over time, I think it'll make music more special. Because when you have less people that are trying to do it, it makes it more special.
Yes, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
When there's a glut of or an absence, a vacuum of talent, the talented ones are going to be really obvious.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of, are there any new artists in country music that have blown you away, or that you?
What are you listening to? Anything?
Yeah.
I mean,
Not to put you on the spot.
no, I mean, I'm just hopping on the bandwagon for a minute. I think Zach Top. I think he's the real deal.
Everybody mentions him.
Everybody
Yeah.
brings up.
Well,
Zach
I mean,
Top.
everybody we talk to here in the podcast mentions him. I mean, I'm hopeful that perhaps he's helping swing that pendulum back to the traditional side.
But I say that because I've been around him and we've done shows together. He is the real deal.
Yes.
Like what you see, he's not pretending.
Mm-hmm.
All them songs, the traditional, like there's a video that I posted a couple years ago. Me and him, we were in a back green room, and I hopped on the piano and I started playing this Ronnie Millsap song. Just didn't tell him, and he turns around and says, "Yeah, oh yeah," and then he starts singing it. It's like so. He is that guy, and that's what I'm proud of. There is some fabricated music that has crossed our airwaves in the last 5 or so years. He is not that guy. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
And so he's one of them. Jake Worthington, I think he's awesome.
Are you on the Ella Langley bandwagon?
I mean, I love the fact that when you hear her voice, she's unique.
You know it's her.
You can pick it out.
Yep.
Yes.
I think and I deal with this because my daughter Presley, she's diving into the music, and I know, so and my wife is a great singer. I always was more critical of girl singers than I was guy singers, but it just seemed like girls were trying to, if they loved somebody as a growing up, they wanted to be a singer, they would always try to emulate that person. But Ella, she's her own thing, that means a lot, and I think she's great. And on top of that, I know a lot of people that have been around her through the years. She's paid her dues, and that means a lot to me too. Mm-hmm. These overnight successes, I will never say, hey, I'll never talk down to somebody, no matter what their path was, but there's just a bit of respect when I know that they've worked hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
come
she's
up through the clubs and
Yes.
Yeah, she's still only 27 years old.
Oh, I know.
You know, still a very young woman. So what kind of gigs do you enjoy? I know most artists, it doesn't matter. They'll play in somebody's front yard. They just love to perform. But, I mean, are there certain kind of gigs that really, really turn you on?
Yeah. I mean, last night played the Red Wheel up at the factory. And
cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I love the songwriter rounds.
Yeah. The intimacy.
Yeah, I love theaters. I love being able to sit and talk to the audience sometimes. But then I also love to turn everything to 11 and melt faces. And so like that's tonight. I'm playing tonight at Grindstone Shelbyville.
All right.
And then Monday night I'm playing Grindstone Eagleville, where I do a monthly 90s country show. So
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
So looking back at your live performances, is there one that really sticks with you? Like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe we're playing this place, or I'm on the bill with this person. I mean, is there one that kind of really sticks out for
there's
you?
a couple.
Yeah.
I remember doing a charity event with Alan Jackson at the Ryman.
Oh, wow.
And I think I had played the Ryman before, but you know, you go in and do your Opry spot, 2 songs, 3 songs, whatever. But this was a full 45-minute set with my band on the Ryman stage, opening for Alan Jackson. So that was, and it was for colorectal cancer event. I do remember that, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds special.
Well, man, just keep it up, because we think the world of you. We love your music,
I appreciate it.
and we love Grindstone Cowboy. Don't Keep those going, baby.
I am. The foot is on the gas. I still put music out on a pretty regular basis. I still love it. I feel like my voice is as good as it's ever been in the studio. And so, I mean, people ask us like, where do you see yourself in X amount of years? I said, I just hope I'm still doing it.
Well, don't give up on the number one. I think it could still happen myself.
Maybe.
So if folks want to come see you or any show at Grindstone Cowboy, when does the music normally kick off? What time?
So we don't typically have music on Fridays, but this is an anomaly. 3 or 4 times a year, there's a 5th Friday.
Yeah.
So we do music on the 5th Fridays, and I didn't have anybody booked. I dropped the ball and I said, "Well, I'll do it." I happen to be off, so we're gonna go down and do Turn It On.
Well, that's a great place to play. Shelbyville's a great town.
Yeah. So it starts 7-ish, 8 or what?
So music usually on Saturdays starts at 6, but tonight we're starting at 7.
Yeah. All right.
Very cool. Well, just keep it up.
Get there.
CraigCampbell.com, correct?
CraigCampbell.tv.
TV.
Yeah.
Yes, I noticed that when I was looking at the website.
Some fella out on the East Coast is a realtor. He's got CraigCampbell.com, and he would never give it up.
Well, that's when you send Trace out there.
Right? Yeah. So, CraigCampbell.tv, and then all of my socials are Craig Campbell TV. So.
All right.
Well, please check it out. Like I said, also, anybody that's coming to Nashville, make the drive down to Eagleville or Shelbyville.
Or
both.
Pretty
Just
areas.
Hit both.
Beautiful areas.
Well, Jay, tell the folks where they can catch Circling the Drain.
You betcha. Of course, all of the social media platforms. On Facebook, our more than 22,000 followers.
Woo! Nice.
Let's go.
Can continue to find us here on Facebook. Of course, we've got the YouTube channel, X, and, of course, all the typical audio platforms. And, of course, there's always circlingthedrain.net.
And also, you can check Jay out on his podcast, which is Game Time. And
it's not a podcast, but I mean, it's the live streaming of sports that
there
we do.
There you go.
Yep, got that really firing up here again now that the summer's coming to a close.
And you also had a fishing one.
Yeah, I know, man. We're doing fishing tournaments.
Man, you do so much. And then you can also hear him on TN.
Yeah, on WTN, WSM. Yeah, Westwood one. I just don't know when to quit. I know. I don't know when to quit.
And the same with Jim. Jim's on several podcasts.
Yeah, man. How many podcasts you work on now, Jim?
Probably 13 or 14.
Good God.
Yeah.
And you can see me. I'm down in Eagleville. I'm usually,
on the corner with a sign.
And guitar playing with a hat by there. I'm busking. But join us, and thanks again once to Craig Campbell, man.
Yes,
I appreciate him coming.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. Enjoyed it.
Well, we'd love to have you back.
Say when.
All right. Well, listen, we'll join you next time on Circling the Drain.